Okay, we're going to do something a little different this time. In the past, I've done slideshow presentations to kind of show the differences between different updates in Mobile Live. And this time I'm going to do kind of a live demo version of a video here to kind of show you the different features they've added and see if we can get through this demo, show you some of the things it can do, and go from there. So we're on the login screen here. Everything here is still the same. You go to the three-dot menu to go to Setup here. You can... This is where you enter the QR codes. Also, up in the top right-hand corner is where you delete the database. If you updated the Mobile Live to this new version and did the deleting of the Mobile Live folder within your internal storage on your device, which I sent that video out with the update here a couple weeks ago, you probably had to re-enter your QR codes, which are always available on the Ryan Google Drive inside the Real Green folder. So you can always find those QR codes there if you, for some reason, need to re-enter those. Login screen, like I said, pretty much the same. We're going to log in here real quick. I am in a test database, just same as the normal database, just able to go in and make changes and do things that won't affect our live data. So we're in the test database here. There are not a whole lot of changes in this version. If you were on the old version of Mobile Live, then you may notice quite a few changes. One thing that was on the last version, the last update, was this used to be a floating ball menu. They've now went back to this drawer type menu up here in the top left hand corner. You can click on this arrow to open the menu, which has the call log, customer search, service search, modify route, and production status and note review all in there. So you can click on it, or you can actually drag it to the right, and it also brings it out. So either way, you can open that menu. Still have the menu in the top right-hand corner, 3 dots. This is where you go to Setup Route, Refresh Route, Parameters, Images, and if you want to change the theme, you can do that here also. The only thing that really changes is the color here at the top of the depot screen. So then, if we go back to the depot screen, one new feature you'll notice, and I think I mentioned this in an email the other day, was that they have now put it on here and it's tracking how many stops you've completed for the day and how many dollars you've completed. This is one thing we've kind of been asking for a while, to be able to tell how much work we've completed in the day so far. And by adding this on here, we can now track how much work we've done for the day. So that's a really cool feature they added for us. What we're going to do is go into a lawn service here. So we've got an LO2. The confirmation screen, everything here is the same. Still have the availability to get to the customer screen from here. And once we go into the actual ticket, into the production screen, depending on what version you were on, you may notice things a little bit differently. Everything is still here at the top, which was the same as the last major update. All the items, the customer screen, billing address, navigation to the property, email, text, and calling. Those two, of course, are available for people who have work phones. They can text and email from Mobile Live directly and links them right to their texting and telephone. The menu is still in the top left-hand corner. Just click to open it. This gets you to your crews, printing and emailing invoices, and all these other options they have here. And then one other thing I will mention real quick while we're in this area, if you need to, if you download the update, and you notice that your invoice doesn't look correct, go to the print queue, which is right up here. Open the print queue. You can change it from whatever it is. If it's not correct, we want to make sure we're on L85 front and back. So make sure those two are correct. Customer address, name here. You can click on this service if you need to punch timers, mark a service not serviceable. You can view and edit the program from this button too, and then if you need to clear start times, you can also do that. This view last production is also here, which is it basically pulls up the last invoice that was completed in this program. So in this case, we have an LO2, so it would show us the production and the invoice for the LO1. One new feature that we have recently gained is the ability to have invoices saved to the documents folder. So when we go to the customer screen later, we'll be able to access those from the customer screen and not have to go through the program and the service to get to the production history. We can just pull them directly from the documents folder, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Remit balance is still here on the customer screen if they owe some money. And then all of your other necessities are down here for the actual production. The products are still here, which is the same as it was before. Click on add products, select your products, and then fill that in. Condition codes are still here. Green ones are obviously linked to a service. Gray ones are more informational. And then the note. And the note has not changed a whole lot. Everything here is pretty much the same. It does have this character count here, but 2,000 is not as many characters as we actually have available, I don't think. So you just want to make sure you're careful to watch your notes when you print them out. Most guys have kind of a standard note that they use, and then they add, specific things about the property that they're on. Make sure that standard note plus your specifics about the property. Don't push your name or phone number or pesticide license number off the invoice. That information has to be on there. So make sure that your note's not too long. And then if you go to the top here, you can add quick text if you want to, or you can save quick text here also. So both of those options are still available. Going back to the production screen again. Also down here at the bottom on the right, you see the print button. If you need to print the ticket, print the invoice, leave it on the front door. If you need to email it, you just go over to this mailbox or to this menu here. Click on email. Should kick you over to your Gmail, and then pull it up so you can send it to the customer. We sent an email out, I think, a couple of days ago, maybe last week, about emailing invoices. We're going to continue to follow that process because it's been very effective, actually, since we kind of got forced into it with COVID. It's worked really well to email invoices to customers. So we're going to continue to do that. It's a good way to get the information to them quickly, and it also saves us some money from paper and stamps and stuff to mail all those invoices out if we have to mail any. So it's definitely a good way to go. So continue to email the invoices to the customers. And then same as always, everything else is pretty much the same here. This add services button, once again, we want to stay away from that. We don't want to add services from the production screen. We only want to do that from the customer screen. So let's go back to the depot screen and we'll look at an estimate real quick here. I've got an estimate here for a cool season lawn program. So we're going to go in here. Confirmation page looks the same. Everything should be here. Up here you can see the information on what the customer wants for the estimate. And then once you open the estimate, same information is always up here at the top. It's going to have the customer screen available, navigation of the property, and telephone here. They must not have a cell phone or an email address because both of those icons are gone. So it'll only show you icons for actual things that you can use. It won't show you an email icon unless you actually have an email address on file. So those are something you can watch for. Once again, in here, basically estimates are the same as they were in the past. You can fill in all the information here for the account, all the prices and everything for the lawn applications. You can go down here to this camera, and take a photo of the property. It is still showing up on there. If you go up here actually to the print queue now, there's only really one option for the estimate. We want to do the estimate detail. They don't have the with a picture, without a picture anymore. We just do the estimate detail. It'll always add the picture. And so that's kind of a different change. But yeah, always use the estimate detail. And then down here you've got condition codes. We want to make sure we add condition codes on for the estimate also. And then the estimate note is right here. So you go ahead and complete that and put that in there. Let's go to the customer screen. We'll take a look at that one on this customer's account real quick. Customer screen is pretty much the same. Like all the other screens, production screen and estimate screens and stuff, all this information is still at the top. Billing address, navigation, email, text, and phone. So you've got the customer name here. This is their phone number. If you need to add an email address or another phone number, you just have to access it right here. Then it'll show you all the programs that they have. Down here at the bottom, the little plus sign, that's how we add services. So if you need to add an estimate for a customer, you'll do that from here. The call log is the little telephone. And then, like I was talking about earlier, the documents folder is right here in the center. And with the new feature of saving invoices on the documents folder, now you can access them from here. So you can just click on that documents folder, which this one doesn't happen to have any, and then you can actually print out invoices from there. You can email invoices to the customer from there. Any of those things you need to do. So, and everything else on here is pretty much the same as it was before. All right. The menu here has access to call aheads, invoice worksheet notes, flag codes, all the important information that we might need to change on a customer's account. Okay. Now let's go back to the depot screen again. One thing we're going to look at real quick, we're going to go over here to the menu. We'll take a look at the call log real quickly. Call log's pretty much the same, hasn't changed much. All the color codes are still the same. Nothing new there. You can still go into the filter sort screen, make sure you have all days and non-resolved checked, make sure your order is due date, enter date, and then status, so things are showing up properly. And then everything there should be good. If you need to add a call log, one thing that we have noticed with this new version of Mobile Live is that you can actually create a call log that is not linked to a customer. We've talked about that in the past, that we don't want to do that because we don't know where those call logs need to go. If you send somebody in the office a call log with no account number linked to it, then they're going to have to call you to figure out who you wanted to make the change for or whatever the call log was for. So what you have to do at this point is basically click on this three-dot menu at the top, do the customer search, and then when you've searched out the correct customer, it'll add their information back in here under phone number and name. So just make sure you do the customer search before you create that call log. Everything else there is pretty straightforward, same as it was before. Let's take a quick look at customer search. Customer search is still the same. Basically, enter the information that you have available. Everything I think is 3 characters to get it to where it's a green check mark, so you can search by that parameter. Everything else there is pretty much the same. One small glitch that we have found in the new version is there is a glitch when you're doing an estimate, especially if you're entering information in. This estimate already has the prices included because it's a lawn estimate and they had a square footage. The problem we've had is if you have an estimate that's maybe a tree shrub estimate or something where you're actually entering prices in and you're entering service notes and stuff like that in, if you do that and then you go to the customer screen, you will lose that information. You need to either go to the customer screen before you enter the information, or you have to go all the way back out to the depot screen and then come back into it in order to go to the customer screen without losing that information. It's a glitch they're working on fixing, hopefully for the next update, but it's something to keep an eye out for. If you need to look at the customer screen, just try to make sure you do it before you enter a whole bunch of information and then lose it all. So that's one small glitch we've noticed in this version so far. Everything else seems to be functioning pretty well. So that's kind of it for the new update for Mobile Live. Everything else is pretty much the same. Of course, if at any time you have any questions or issues with this new version, don't be afraid to call, email, or text me. I'm glad to kind of walk you through anything we need to fix, and hopefully things will work well and keep going. Thank you.